Section 4. Financial Viability. Chapter 20. Land Trusts. Protect Stewardship Mission. A stewardship community cannot rest on privately owned land without reintroducing the very instability it is trying to solve. Private land ownership, by design, converts place into an asset. Assets appreciate, leverage, consolidate, and transfer according to capital advantage. When land becomes speculative property, the platform for survival, housing, food production, education space, can be accumulated or withdrawn based on wealth rather than contribution. Over time, governance subtly shifts toward those with equity at stake. Even in well-intentioned communities, ownership concentration slowly recreates landlordism under softer language. A sweat equity stewardship model interrupts that cycle at its root. Land is held in trust. It cannot be sold for private windfall, collateralized for personal leverage, or inherited as passive income. What members accumulate is not title. It is standing. Stewardship rights are earned through sustained participation across productive, relational, and governance domains. Authority flows from contribution, not capital. In a private ownership model, high financial contributors may accumulate property and therefore influence regardless of current participation. In contrast, a sweat equity system ties influence to ongoing community engagement. Because stewardship is inseparable from participation, governance power cannot drift toward absentee owners or silent investors. Capital remains subordinate to labor and culture. The distinction becomes especially important in times of imbalance. When care loads rise, during pregnancy waves, elder decline, injury, or recovery cycles, a privately owned system incentivizes individuals to protect personal equity first. Members may resist redistribution, resist intake of high-care individuals, or exit entirely to preserve asset value. Under sweat equity, no member has an appreciating land position to defend. Stability comes from the collective health of the system, not from isolated property appreciation. This reinforces cooperation during strain rather than fragmentation. Land trusts also stabilizes intergenerational continuity. Children cannot inherit speculative advantage. They inherit belonging and the opportunity to earn stewardship. This prevents the quiet formation of a land-holding class inside the community. Every generation must participate. Authority must be renewed through contribution rather than transferred automatically through bloodline or capital accumulation. The land remains mission-locked. The culture remains alive. Investors, when necessary, function as temporary financiers with capped returns and no governance authority. Infrastructure may require capital infusion, but capital does not purchase belonging. It does not purchase voting power. It does not purchase exemption from contribution. Once infrastructure is paid off through productive surplus, the land remains permanently shielded from extraction. This protects the physical substrate of community life from market volatility and prevents speculative capture. Most importantly, land trusts integrate dignity and accountability. Members who contribute meaningfully earn real standing and influence. Members in high care phases remain protected because the system recognizes care as productive investment rather than economic drag. No one can leverage land ownership to dominate, but no one can permanently disengage while retaining structural authority either. Governance remains dynamic, responsive, and tied to lived participation. Private ownership aligns land with accumulation. Land trusts align land with stewardship. In a blueprint designed to balance production and care across generations, only the latter keeps capital permanently subordinate to contribution. The land becomes what it was always meant to be in a healthy civilization, not a commodity, but a shared foundation for survival and growth.